Shakur Stevenson's. I'm doing the black thing. Putting S's on words for no reason. A Newark native. Shout outs to you. I was born in Beth, Israel. All right? 07106. Brick City, nigga. Monticello Ave. I left when I was a baby, but still, nigga. But my whole family's from Newark. You know what I'm saying? I have deep Newark roots. All right? So shout outs to you. All right? One of the best boxers in the world right now. To me, they put him in the top 10. I looked at their top 10 pound for pound list. I can't really argue with it. But to me, skill for skill, he's at least number 5, number 6 of the boxers I've seen. Usyk is the best heavyweight of this modern era. Nobody's fucking with him. Bud is Bud. You already know. And fucking Shakur is cut from that cloth. That nigga's nice. All right? They say he can't thump, though. He say he ain't got no power. I think that's a lie. I think he does have power. He chooses to fight the way he fights. That's a whole nother story. We're not getting into that. He just had a fight. He looked good. He stayed in the pocket, and he fought a young Mexican dude who put hundreds of punches on him. And Shakur took care of it in a very professional manner and had a good fight, right? And then they asked him a question. They said, hey, who do you want next? And he said, there's only one fight, and there's only been one fight. And I've been saying it for the past 5 years. You don't have to ask me anymore because the answer to the question is Tank Davis. Tank Davis, meanwhile, was beating the shit out of his baby's mother, my nigga, allegedly. And he's supposed to be doing a rematch against Frank Roach. Is his name Frank? I don't remember. Roach. And where's the rematch at, my nigga? That's the toughest fight of Tank's career, and he wants to avoid it. This brings me to what I wanted to discuss today. Boxing has a long history of fighting the best to be called the best, right? Real boxing heads know that there's people out there, styles make fights. There's people with certain styles that you would want to avoid as a champion or a boxer who makes money because it will hurt your record or your legacy. However, back in the day, losses didn't mean you weren't good. Losses just meant get back on the horse and try again. I wish that day and age would come back. Rare. It was so rare for anybody to retire with an O on their record. Fast forward. Mayweather comes along. He realizes that the money is in people wanting to see him lose and then never losing and talking the most shit possible afterwards. That's what he realized. And I believe he poisoned the world of boxing, and worse is he poisoned the boxing fan. Because the fans of Mayweather stopped being a fan of boxing, stopped even being a fan of Mayweather boxing, and started to be a fan of Mayweather never losing. So they started to actually want fights that were easier for Mayweather. They didn't want to see fights that was harder for him. If you're a boxing fan, quote unquote, and you say to yourself, fighter A doesn't need to fight fighter B, even though because fighter B didn't it didn't do enough. And then fighter B has just as good as a name as fighter A, you're a fucking idiot. You're going against your own interest. Your job as a fan, my job as a fan, is to want to see the best fights possible and enjoy them. I don't want to see the greatest fighter ever beat up on somebody who can't fight. I don't want to see Tank versus Rolly, for example. I mean, I watched it. It was an entertaining fight. It was cool. But I would rather see Tank versus Shakur. And here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't fight Rolly. I'm just saying there's an order to these things. In fact, it's a fucking whole sanctioning body that tells you and ranks the fucking fighters in order to tell you which ones are up there in skill and accomplishment. But time and time again, because Mayweather made a living out of ducking niggas, fucking fans have come to stop being a fan of the fights themselves and being a fan of the fighter and his unbeaten record. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the same thing Trump gets, where these people just worship a cult of personality, or if it's more so they wish they could be that person, so they see themselves in there and their success becomes your success. So don't take any dangerous fights because you could lose and then my fandom wouldn't be worth shit. Same thing with Nicki Minaj and all these other people. These people like have this relationship with the person for no reason that doesn't even make any sense. So I don't know if that's it or not. But recently Roy Jones went on a podcast and he's been beefing with Mayweather. And he's been saying, hey, Mayweather, you didn't really fight the fights. And everybody just said, oh, Roy, you old and hating, you old and hating. Roy Jones, I'm going to tell you, that country-ass, Pensacola-ass nigga, that chicken raisin, fucking cow tipping, farming, fucking barefoot in the wheat fields ass nigga loves him some boxing. Loves it. He loves basketball. He loves rap. But the main thing he loves is boxing. And if he had it his way, he'd do it till he died. And damn near got killed in the ring because of that shit. He loves it. And the one thing that the average boxing fan on the internet doesn't understand about real boxing heads is that the real boxing of experts don't rank Mayweather in the top 15 or top 20 of all time, because your all time probably goes back to Mike Tyson. And if you're a little older, your all time might go back to fucking the Four Kings. Sugar, what's his name? Sugar Ray Leonard. But the real boxing fans, the real niggas, the niggas like Cus D'Amato that taught Mike Tyson, for example, is a real boxing head. And his top 20 or top 5 goes back to fucking the first black champion ever and shit. Jack Johnson and shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? These are what they talk about. Because boxing has been around is one of the only sports that's been around for hundreds of years and has been mainstream popular for over 100 years. Like boxing was around 100 years before football, baseball, basketball, soccer, all that shit. Boxing and fighting is a tradition that runs deep in the human race, and in America, in the UK, Australia, blah, blah, blah. Me, I could tell you a lot going back to Jack Johnson. After that, I'm a little hazy. And then I'm not good enough, I'm not educated enough to tell you about the other countries. But there's some people out there, and those people that know about the other countries that watch the fucking black and white footage of niggas going 30 rounds and throwing 2 jabs per round because they needed to save themselves because there was no end to the fight. The people who could tell you about that, they don't have Mayweather up there. And there's one reason. It's not because he's not talented enough. He was super talented. It's not because he wasn't skilled enough. He's one of the most skilled boxers to ever live. The problem is he didn't prove it. And he may have proved it to you because you don't know no fucking better, but he didn't prove it to the real niggas. And the only way to prove it to real niggas is by fighting the fucking fights. He waited 5 years and fought Manny Pacquiao after he got knocked out. That's what he did. Because he was afraid of not Manny Pacquiao. He was afraid of losing his meal ticket. He was afraid of putting the thing on the line that makes him who he is, that made him Money Mayweather, and that is being undefeated. That's the reason why John Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall right now. Because he's not afraid of Tom Aspinall. He's afraid of the moment. He's afraid of putting it in risk and danger. And I believe all that started with Mayweather. Go back to the 90s. Save for a couple of niggas who was ducking in the heavyweight division. All them niggas fought everybody. Everybody fought everybody. There was 1 or 2 that was ducking, but that nigga got disgraced and lost his belt and had to move on. And he's forever remembered as a ducking ass nigga. I can't remember his name now because of that. You know what I'm saying? It's right there on the tip of my tongue. But that's what I'm talking about. You know who I remember? George Foreman. Because he fought everybody. Muhammad Ali fought Muhammad Ali fought niggas he shouldn't have been fighting. He didn't have to fight them fights, nigga. Larry Holmes beat the shit out of him, my nigga. He didn't have to have that happen, but he did it because he was a fucking warrior and a gladiator, my nigga. What makes Mayweather's 50 fights better than Rocky Marciano's 50 fights? And guess what? Rocky Marciano ain't high on the list because they say he ain't fight nobody. And it wasn't because he was ducking. It was just because at the time it just wasn't, unfortunately, when Rocky was fighting, all the best niggas wasn't around at that time. There was better niggas that came after and niggas who was at the end of their ropes. You don't get no fucking points for beating up on old niggas. Wash niggas. You don't get points for beating niggas who are too young to really be developed. You got to beat niggas 3 times or more. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Back in the day, you had to scrap, nigga. And these fucking fighters be taking years off and then come back and get their ass whooped by Roach and they don't understand why, nigga. You ain't fought in 2 years. Tank, you ain't fought in a year and a half. You thought you was gonna come back and just be that nigga? That's not how it works. You don't get better at fighting by not fighting, and your fans are allowing you to do this because you're making so much money off one fight. Let me take a whole year off. Fuck that shit, nigga. Fight. That's how you make the money. That's how you become who you are. I'm not saying you gotta fight 4 or 5 times a year like niggas used to, but 2 times a year at least. Look at fucking what's his name? Canelo, who's out also ducking. But the ducking is gonna be looked at different because Canelo fought all the fights when he was good. Now that he's kind of washed, that nigga's ducking the fuck out of niggas. But you're old. But the thing is, if you're old and you don't want to fight the fights, get rid of the belt and get the fuck out the way. You can still fight as much as you want, but stop holding on to the belt. That's the problem I have with Canelo. Canelo is ducking and holding on to the belt. That's wrong. If you was just, look, I'm too old. I'm not trying to fight David Benavidez. Cool. Get the belt up and move on. Anyway, and the crazy part is he might end up fucking losing to what's my man's name? He's about to fight.
I can't tell you honestly.
Bud. He's about to fight Bud. Yeah. But he might end up losing to Bud. That's going to be crazy because you ducked David Benavidez. And if you'd have lost to him, we would have picked you up off the ground, shook your hand, and said, great career, fucking legend, going into the blaze of glory. If you lose to Bud so you could duck David Benavidez, you will become the laughingstock. And that's what it gets you. So Mayweather, his peers, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, these niggas whose legend is solidified with the kings of this shit, with the gods, with the pantheon of boxing. These niggas are in that. They're telling Mayweather he didn't fight the fights. They're not giving Mayweather that same respect. Why? Because you ran from the fights while they were available to you. It's not to say that any of these niggas could have beat Mayweather. It could have been that he won, but the fact is we don't know. If Sugar Ray Leonard didn't fight Hands of Stone, we wouldn't have known who was better. If Hands of Stone didn't give him a rematch, we wouldn't have known who was better. If fucking Marvin Hagler didn't fight a tough ass fucking fight against the other nigga, what's his name? Hagler Hearns. If he didn't fight Hearns, how will we know? That's a tough fight. That's a dangerous fight. That fight only went 2 rounds. But they're considered gods because they fought the fucking fights, my nigga. You gotta fight. You gotta fight. So Tank needs to fight fucking Shakur. But Tank first has to fight Roach because in ducking Shakur, he fought some dude that he thought was going to be fooled. And this nigga Roach, if his life ain't good in America, nigga. And he fought that nigga Tank like his life depended on it, my nigga. And Tank is buying fucking Carhartt pants and fucking Chrome Heart pants and shit and Chrome Heart jeans and beating on his girl because like he's got so much money, life is good for him. Then he ran up against a nigga that is hungry, nigga. Or put an ass whooping on you. And that's why he's afraid to fight Shakur, because Shakur could put an ass whooping on him. And guess what? Shakur's younger than him, so he ain't going to get old no time soon. You can't wait Shakur out. This nigga, Gervonta Davis, ran like I never seen anybody run in my life from Lomachenko. I've never seen a younger dude on the come up duck the champion. That shit is crazy work. And when he did it, it's because Mayweather was his fucking management. Need to change that shit from Mayweather Promotions to fucking Run Promotions, nigga. Fucking sprinting promotions, nigga. Marathon promotions, nigga. This nigga is just the king of the duck. He's the architect of the duck. He's the proprietor of the duck. If it wasn't for this nigga Mayweather having a successful career and the fucking niggas in the industry that don't really know what they're talking about because they don't really know boxing like that, sucking his dick, fucking Stephen A. Smith, one of the worst opinionated niggas I've ever heard in my life. One of the most fake, faux, intelligent niggas ever. Nigga who will make up words and say words wrong, and just because you don't know what it is, you respect his intellect. He always puts Mayweather at number 1. Niggas like that don't know what they're talking about, my nigga. Because he's promotion. has made y'all think this nigga Mayweather is the greatest and never could lose and all this other kind of shit. And maybe he is the greatest. Maybe he never could lose, but we don't know because he didn't fight the fights. And that's why he's not going to be in the pantheon. He's going to be up there. Might be number 55 on some niggas' list. Might be number 35, number 15. He's not going to be in that top 10. He's not going to be relegated. He's not going to be in that top 5. He might be in yours. But into the real niggas who know boxing, that know the name of niggas in Australia, who understand the fights and who know how Jersey Joe Walcott got down.
Jersey Joe Walcott.
Walcott? Yeah, you know how Jersey Joe Walcott got down. You're not talking about Mayweather. Straight up and down. If you understand who these niggas really are, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. These niggas don't want the glory no more. All they want is the clout and the money. And you may say, hey, if I was in boxing, all I would want was the clout and the money. The thing is, with glory goes the spoils. What if I told you that Mayweather and Pacquiao sold the most they ever sold ever? Just the biggest pay-per-view ever. Imagine if Pacquiao never got knocked out by Marquez first. How much more would that would have sold? That what if is gone now. We're never going to see AJ versus Deontay Wilder because Deontay Wilder is washed now. AJ ducked this nigga for how many years? Anthony Johnson ducked this nigga for how many years? We're never going to get that fight. What if? That could have been one of the biggest fights of all time. When that nigga was like, to this day, when that nigga was at the all-time height of popularity. They should have fought.
Tragic part now is looking back, hindsight, you probably would beat that nigga up.
You probably would have won, but you was too scared at the moment. Here's the thing. I can't even say that. Because that nigga Anthony's chin ain't really all that. And Wilder was known for finding that chin. There's so many fights. Look, now they trying to put together Anthony Johnson versus the Gypsy King. Tyson Fury. Who wants to? It's too late. You niggas ducked each other for so long that niggas don't even want to see it no more, nigga. The glory pays you more. I know it's safe. I know you feel safe fighting the lesser fights. And you're like, why? Let me just take the extra money and feel safe, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you missing out on, you leaving money on the table. So that's how I view it. Fucking Shakur Stevenson is that nigga. And if you don't like his boxing style, that's cool, I guess. But you're probably really not a boxing fan. Criticize him for the fights he deserves criticism for. And, you know, keep it real with yourself and others, my nigga. Stop fucking ducking and bring real boxing back. Turkey Al-Sheikh is out here trying to pay top dollar to get these niggas to actually fight each other. It doesn't take $200 million for Canelo to fight fucking Bud Crawford, my nigga. It shouldn't take $200 million. But he got it because Turkey Al-Sheikh is there. But at what cost? All right? Niggas is murdering fucking journalists. All right? At what cost? Niggas is murdering journalists. So you get Bud versus Canelo, but we put on for a nigga for a country that's doing shit like that. It's tough out here. And all this is born from niggas not wanting to chase the glory. So then Turkey Al-Sheikh has a way in. Oh, the best fighters in the division don't want to fight each other. I got a gazillion dollars. Let's see what can shake. Let's see if I can own the fucking sport. Let's see if I can join forces with the UFC and let one fucking company own boxing and fucking WWE wrestling and fucking MMA. That's the worst shit I could possibly think of. The UFC's presentation and promotion is trash. Like, that shit is boring now. That shit was good maybe 7-10 years ago. That shit is trash now. I don't want them owning boxing. But it is what it is, my nigga. Tank Davis, stop hitting women, my nigga. Allegedly.